Chicago was a pretty fascinating place to be in the 1970s, but in the suburbs, it seemed like a fairly calm place on the surface. Back in those days, everyone knew each other, but there was always an undercurrent of secrets and whispers about who did what in town. In Chicago's outskirts, the Gacy family had a golden reputation. John Wayne Gacy owned fast food restaurants, hired local boys to help run them, and would even dress up as Pogo the Clown to cheer up children at birthday parties. The Gacy family was so well respected they took an active role in politics. At one point, John Wayne Gacy even posed for a photograph with the First Lady. But beneath this facade, Gacy harbored dark secrets. How could anyone have known that Gacy himself would become one of the most infamous American serial killers of all time? Young boys and men started to disappear around the area, with one even being found naked and bloodied, brutally beaten, claiming that Gacy had tried to kill him with a knife. Police, knowing Gacy's sterling reputation, didn't believe the victim, dismissing the case as a misunderstanding. Eventually, one of the victim's family members relentlessly pressured the police into investigating the home. Police were horrified to find the bodies, guided by the overwhelming stench of decaying flesh in the basement. In 1978, John Wayne Gacy chillingly confessed to the brutal murders of 33 young men. The gruesome scandal sent shockwaves through the state, quickly becoming one of the most notorious crimes of the 70s. In the early hours of a hot June night in 1972, 5 men were picked up by police while trying to bug the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate Hotel. The men were found with sophisticated surveillance equipment, leading 2 reporters to take a deeper look into the arrest, and thanks to an insider known only as Deep Throat, they uncovered a trail of corruption that led directly to President Richard Nixon, forever changing American politics. Nixon desperately tried to downplay the involvement his administration had in the election's meddling, but to no avail. His attempts to mislead the public only deepened suspicions. Investigators began to demand tapes of Nixon discussing the Watergate scandal during prosecution, but Nixon refused to release the tapes. This refusal only fueled the fire of controversy. When tapes were procured, a 20-minute gap in footage was discovered. This gap was not just a technical glitch, it was a deliberate act of erasure. They were edited, and it was clear that Nixon was hiding something. The missing minutes hinted at conversations that could have been damning. Feeling cornered, Nixon had a Saturday night massacre which involved him firing his lead assistants. This desperate move was seen as an attempt to obstruct justice and maintain control. Nixon adamantly claimed he knew nothing of the meddling, but no one really believed him. Constantly dogged by bad press, he resigned after claiming that he was not a crook. His resignation marked the first time a U.S. president had ever stepped down from office. Along with being one of the most infamous crimes of the 70s, the Watergate scandal is now seen as one of the most similar historical parallels to the current scandals facing the Trump administration. Whether or not history will repeat itself, though, remains to be seen. Nixon's legacy remains a cautionary tale of power and corruption.